Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So today we will be starting the fourth chapter of the Madhya Leela, which is Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. So we'll quickly say our Mangalacharan prayers and then we will begin with this. It's, I think, a long chapter. It'll take a few sessions, but it's a very beautiful chapter, the devotional service of Madhavendra Puri, who is a very pivotal acharya in our sampradaya, because from him the Madhurya Ras became very prominent in our sampradaya. Actually, it started with Madhavendra Puri. Before that, it wasn't Madhurya Ras wasn't the the mainstay of our sampradaya, but from him it took that turn. So he's a very pivotal acharya in our sampradaya. So we'll learn about his devotional service in this chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So chapter 4, Madhya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. So let's read the summary by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the fourth chapter. Passing along the path of Chhatrabhoga and coming to Vriddhamantreshwara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached the border of Orissa. On his way, he enjoyed transcendental bliss by chanting and begging alms in different villages. In this way, he reached the celebrated village of Remuna, where there is a deity of Gopinath. So this is the Kshir Chora Gopinath. So this is the pastime where the Kshir Chora Gopinath deity gets his name, Kshir Chora, which is the thief of sweet rice. There he narrated the story of Madhavendra Puri as he had heard it from his spiritual master, Ishwar Puri, who narrated Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See? So this is the context. So we had in the previous chapter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to go to Vrindavan and Yamuna, but he was cheated by Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu, and he was taken in Nadia in the West Bengal area, and he went to the Ganga, and then he went to Advaita Acharya's house and all that. And now he was going back after speaking with Shachi Mata, that he would be, because she asked him, although you are a sannyasi, but please stay in a place where I can hear news from you. I think it's best for you to stay in Jagannath Puri. In that way, when people from here, Bengal, go to Orissa, Jagannath Puri, so with that devotees going back and forth, I will get news from you. So then he agreed. Then he was going back to Jagannath Puri, and that's when he came to Ramuna as he was passing through different villages. And here is the Gopinath temple, the Kshirchora Gopinath. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated the story of Mādhavendra Purī as he heard it from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri, who was the disciple of Mādhavendra Purī. So for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mādhavendra Purī was the grand spiritual master or Paramaguru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ishwar Puri's spiritual master, Mādhavendra Purī. So he was narrating his pastimes and his glories. So that's the context. The narration is as follows. One night, while in Govardhan, Mādhavendra Purī dreamed that the Gopal deity was within the forest. The next morning, he invited his neighborhood friends to accompany him to excavate the deity from the jungle. He invited his neighborhood friends to accompany him to excavate the deity from the jungle. He then established the deity of Sri Gopalji on top of Govardhan hill with great pomp. Gopal was worshipped and the Annakota festival was observed. This festival was known everywhere and many people from the neighboring villages came to join. So this Annakot is, the Govardhan Puja festival. One night, the Gopal deity again appeared to Madhavendra Puri in a dream and asked him to go to Jagannath Puri to collect some sandalwood pulp and smear it on the body of the deity. Having received this order, Madhavendra Puri immediately started for Orissa. Traveling through Bengal, he reached Remuna village and there received a pot of condensed milk, Kshira, offered to the deity of Gopinath Ji. This pot of condensed milk was stolen by Gopinath and delivered to Madhavendra Puri. Since then, the Gopinath deity has been known as Kshirchora Gopinath. The deity who stole the milk, stole the pot of condensed milk. So yeah, Kshir actually means milk. It's usually the sweet rice with condensed milk. So that is what the deity stole for Madhavendra Puri. That will be explained in the course of this chapter. So you can see how the Lord ordered him to get sandalwood for his service. And as he was coming to get the sandalwood, the Lord wanted to glorify Madhavendra Puri for his exceptional devotional service. And this is how, the Lord always looks out for how to glorify his devotees. And so he arranged this whole pastime of Kshirchora to glorify the position of Madhavendra Puri. After reaching Jagannath Puri, so reading on in the summary, after reaching Jagannath Puri, Madhavendra Puri received permission from the king to take out one mound of sandalwood and 20 tolas of camphor. Aided by two men, he brought these things to Remuna. Again, he saw in a dream that Gopal at Govardhan Hill desired that very sandalwood to be turned into pulp mixed with camphor and smeared over the body of Gopinath Ji. Okay, so that Gopal in Govardhan Hill wants that sandalwood mixed with camphor to be smeared over the body of Gopinath. That means in Ramuna. Gopal Ji is in Govardhan and Gopinath Ji is in here, Ramuna. So that Gopal deity wanted it to be smeared over Gopinath. Understanding that would satisfy the Gopal deity at Govardhan, Mādhavendra Purī executed the order and returned to Jagannath Puri. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated the story for Lord Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees and praised the pure devotional service of Madhavendra Puri. When he recited some verses composed by Madhavendra Puri, he went into an ecstatic mood. But when he saw that many people were assembled, he checked himself and ate some sweet rice prasadam. Thus he passed that night, and the next morning he again started for Jagannath Puri. So actually you can see later on, Madhavendra Puri composed Ai Deena Dayardra Natha Hai. So that verse, I think. So these verses, I think. Oh, this is Adi 9:10. Okay, no. Yeah, see, it is in this chapter. Ai Deena Dayardra Natha Hai Mathura Natha Kadavalokya Se Hridayam Tvadaloka Kataram Daita Bhramyati Kim Karomyaham. O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved, what shall I do now? So this is actually in the Madhurya Ras of Radharani. I think I explained this few sessions back, but yeah, this is the evidence that Madhavendra Puri brought this mood into the Sampradaya, which was not existing before him. This mood of Madhurya Ras. So this is also in accordance with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to bring about this Madhurya Ras. So that's why he sent Acharya Madhavendra Puri before him, and then Ishwar Puri, and then he came. Just like when Krishna comes, he sends first Devaki, Vasudev, Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and then he comes. So similarly, although Madhavendra Puri was the grand spiritual master and worshipable personality for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire that Madhavendra Puri comes first and sets the stage for Madhurya Ras. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be, distributing that, and again he will send acharyas like Prabhupada, to distribute all over the world. So going back, yeah. So text 1. Yasmai datum chorayan kshera bhandam gopinatha kshera chorabhido bhut Shri Gopala pradurasid vashasan yat prem natam madhavendram natosmi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Shri Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Kshira Chora. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Shri Gopal, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to the public vision. So that is a Sakshi Gopal deity. So you see, I did not see this connection before. Okay, so anyway, I think this is the Sakshi Gopal deity, right? No, this is different. So purport, Sakshi Gopal, I think that happened before, I think. Anyway, purport. Bhaktivinoda Thakur annotates that this Gopal deity was originally installed by Vajra, the great grandson of Krishna. Wow. Madhavendra Puri rediscovered Gopal and established him on top of Govardhan hill. This Gopal deity is now situated at Nathdwara and is under the management of descendants of Vallabhacharya. The worship of the deity is very luxurious, and one who goes there can purchase varieties of prasadam by paying a small price. So, okay, so this is not Sakshi Gopal. This is the Srinathji in Nathdwara. Okay, so that's very interesting. So you see how the Nathdwara Srinathji worship is actually starting from our Sampradaya here, Madhavendra Purī. जय जय गौरचंद्र जय नित्यानंद जयाद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. This is नीलाद्रिगमन जगन्नाथ दर्शन सर्व सार्वभौम भट्टाचार्य प्रभुर मिलन एषव लीला प्रभुर दास वृंदावन विस्तार करिया छेन उत्तम वर्णन. Two verses. Okay. The Lord went to Jagannath Puri and visited Lord Jagannath's temple. He also met with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. All these pastimes have been very elaborately explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur in his book Chaitanya Bhagavat. Sahaje vichitra madhur chaitanya vihar Vrindavan Das mukhe amriter dhar. By nature, all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Ataiva taha varnile hoy punarukti dambha kore varni jadi toiche nahi shakti. Therefore, I very humbly submit that since these incidents have already been nicely described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I would be very proud to repeat the same thing, and this would not be very good. I do not have such powers. Again, Vaishnava etiquette. So Vaishnava etiquette, he was not trying to show off that, oh, Vrindavan Das Thakur described these, I can describe them better, and let me do that. So that is not Vaishnava etiquette, and therefore he's saying that I would not, it would not, I would be very proud to repeat the same thing, and this would not be very good. I do not have such powers. So in a very humble way, he's doing it, and that's how to do. I mean, he was even, I showed you this before, right? Madhya 113. चैतन्य लीला व्यास दास वृंदावन तार आज्ञा करो तार उच्छिष्ट चरवन. So actually the authorized compiler of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Srila Vrindavan Das, the incarnation of Vyasadeva. Only upon his orders am I trying to chew the remnants of food that he has left. Chaitanya Mangale Jaha Korila Varnan Sutra Rupe Shailila Koriye Suchan. I am therefore presenting only a synopsis of those events already described elaborately by Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Mangal, now known as Chaitanya Bhagavat. तार सूत्रे आच्छेते हो ना कोइलो वर्णन यथा कथंचित करी से लीला कथन. Some of the incidents he did not describe elaborately but only summarized, and these I shall try to describe in this book. अतएव तार पाए करि नमस्कार तार पाए अपराध ना हउक अमार. I thus offer my respectful obeisances under the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. I hope that I will not offend his lotus feet by this action. See how careful he is. How careful he is. This is Vaishnava dealing. One must be very, very careful, even in one's preaching, that he should not like kind of supersede any previous acharyas or at any time. Only in that mode when can one actually serve the parampara and be blessed to actually exceed even the previous acharyas in their service by only their mercy. I think you all already know by now 1665 Madhya, because I showed this quite a few times. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Nityananda Prabhu, Taha siddha kare heno anya na dekhiye, amar dushkar karma tuma hoite hoy. Amar dushkar karma. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, you can perform a task that even I cannot do, but for you I cannot find anyone in Gaudadesh who can fulfill my mission there. So here Prabhupada mentions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is to save the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. He delivered many fallen souls, but his disciples mainly came from the upper classes. For example, he delivered Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and many others who were socially elevated but fallen from the spiritual point of view. Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis were situated in government service and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the topmost scholar of India. Similarly, Prakashananda Saraswati was a leader of many thousands of Mayavadi sannyasis. It was Srila Nityananda Prabhu, however, who delivered persons like Jagai and Madhai. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Amar dushkar karma tuma hoite hoy. Jagai and Madhai were delivered solely by Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. When they injured Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya became angry and decided to kill them with his Sudarshan Chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu saved them from the Lord's wrath and delivered them. In the incarnation of Gauranitai, the Lord is not supposed to kill demons, but is supposed to deliver them by preaching Krishna consciousness. In the case of Jagai and Madhai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry that he would have immediately killed them. But Nityananda Prabhu was so kind that he not only saved them from death, but elevated them to the transcendental position. Thus, what was not possible for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was carried out by Nityananda Prabhu. Similarly, if one is true to Gauranitai's service in the disciplic succession, he can even excel Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplic succession. See, this is the point I was trying to make. So, how to excel a previous... See, if one is true to Gauranitai's service in the disciplic succession, he can even excel Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplic succession. Nityananda Prabhu delivered Jagai and Madhai, but a servant of Nityananda Prabhu by his grace. This is important. By his grace, not by competing and I will do better than him. That attitude will not get us anywhere. But by his grace can deliver many thousands of Jagais and Madhais. That is the special benediction of the disciplic succession. One who is situated in the disciplic succession can be understood by the result of his activities. This is always true as far as the activities of the Lord and his devotees are concerned. Therefore, Lord Shiva says, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best, and better than worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. Padma Puran. By the grace of Vishnu, a Vaishnava can render better service than Vishnu. See? By the grace of Vishnu, a Vaishnava can render better service than Vishnu. That is a special prerogative of a Vaishnava. The Lord actually wants to see his servants work more gloriously than himself. For instance, on the battle of Kurukshetra, Sri Krishna provoked Arjuna to fight because all the warriors on the battlefield were to die by Krishna's plan. Krishna himself did not want to take credit. Rather, he wanted Arjuna to take credit. Therefore, he asked him to fight and win fame. Tasmat tvamuttishthai yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham bhavasavyasaachin. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Bhagavad Gita 11:33. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives credit to a devotee who performs any heavy task perfectly. Hanumanji or Vajrangaji, the servant of Lord Ramachandra, serves as another example. It was Hanumanji who jumped over the sea in one leap and reached the shore of Lanka from the shore of Bharatvarsha. When Lord Ramachandra chose to go there, he paved the way with stones, although by his will the stones were able to float on the sea. See? When Lord Ramachandra chose to go there, he paved the way with stones, although by his will the stones were able to float on the sea. So if we simply follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and following the footsteps of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement can advance and even more difficult tasks can be performed by the preachers remaining faithful to the service of the Lord. This is very important because we have a very, very big mission of preaching to the whole world. Prithiviti Achijata Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoibe Moranam. Well, Srila Prabhupada definitely laid the foundations for that, but to actually go into every single nook and corner of the world, that is still waiting to be done, and it's by design, it's by the mercy of Prabhupada, it's by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this service is still there, so that we can actually at least do some, we have something to do for the Lord, and we have to do that. And we can only do that if we have the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. By Prabhupada's mercy, this can be done. So this is a very important lesson, how one should. So when dasa dasa dasana dasa, parampara means we have to become servant of the servant of the servant. Now in the material world, servant of the servant of the servant is a very insignificant person. But in the spiritual world, he becomes more significant than the master of the master of the master. And ultimate master is Krishna. So Krishna, it's a very sweet relationship where Krishna reciprocates the service done by his devotee to an extent that he takes it as more than he himself could have done. So the more one becomes servant in the spiritual world, in the spiritual way, the more one becomes glorified. Bhaktair bhaktajana priyaha. Today morning also Sundar Prabhu was telling in the class that verse 9.463. So sadhubhir grasta hridayo bhaktair bhaktajana priyaha. So bhakta's bhakta, Krishna's bhakta becomes very dear to Krishna. So the more we become bhakta of the bhakta of the bhakta of the bhakta, the more we become dear to Krishna. So that's a very unique thing in the spiritual world. The more we become humble, the more Krishna actually likes it that way. Nityananda kohe ami deho tumi pran. Oh, what am I reading? I'm reading Madhya Lila. See, I'm going where? Yeah, this is the one. Ei mata Mahaprabhu chole la nila chole chari bhakta sange Krishna kirtan kutuhale. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded towards Jagannath Puri with 4 of his devotees, and he chanted the holy name of the Lord and the Hare Krishna mantra with great eagerness. भिक्षा लागी एक दिन एक ग्राम गिया आपने बहुत अन्न आनिलो मागिया. Each day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to a village and collected a great quantity of rice and grains for the preparation of prasadam. पथे बड़ बड़ दानी विघ्न नाही करे, तासबारे कृपा करे आइला रे मुनारे. There were many rivers on the way, and at each river there was a tax collector. See, the tax collectors did not hinder the Lord, however, and he showed them mercy. Finally, he reached the village of Remuna. See, at every village there was a tax collector. Look at him. So, purport. There is a railway station named Baleshwar. Actually, this is the same where we have our ISKM, Balasore. So, this is actually the actual name of that place is Baleshwar. So, there is a railway station named Baleshwar. In fact, recently there was a huge accident there, railway accident. I think 2 years ago or something. Many people died, head-on collision with another train. It's a very tragic incident that happened. Not at the station, but very near to the station in Baleshwar. But the way it is pronounced now is Balashore, Balashore. But actually it's Baleshwar. So there is a railway station named Baleshwar, and 5 miles to the west is the village of Remuna. The temple of Kshirchora Gopinath still exists in this village, and within the temple, the Samadhi tomb of Rasikananda Prabhu, the chief disciple of Shamananda Goswami, can still be found. And those of you who have gone there, you would have seen the Kshirchora Gopinath temple and also the Rasikananda Samadhi. We have seen that. Remuna te Gopinath Param Mohan Bhakti Kore Koilo Prabhu Tar Darshan. The deity of Gopinath in the temple at Remuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. तार पाद पद्म निकट प्रणाम करिते तार पुष्प चूड़ा पड़िलो प्रभुर माथाते. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of the Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. चूड़ा पाया महाप्रभुर आनंदित मन बहु नृत्य गीत कैलो लैया भक्तगण. When the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. Prabhur prabhav dekhi prema rupa gun vismita haila gopinathir dasagan. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love. His exquisite beauty and his transcendental qualities. नाना रूपे प्रीत्य कोइलो प्रभुर सेवन शे रात्रिताः प्रभु करिला वंचन. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways, and that night the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath. महाप्रसाद क्षीर लोभे रहिला प्रभु तथा पूर्वे ईश्वर पुरे तारे कोरियाछेन कथा. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri of what had once happened there. Tirchora Gopinath prasiddha taranam bhakta gane kohe prabhu sheta akhyan. That deity was known widely as Tirchora Gopinath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotees the story of how the deity became so famous. पूर्वे माधव पुरीर लागी क्षीर कोइलो चुरी अतएव नाम होइलो क्षीर चोरा हरि. Formerly, the deity had stolen a pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Purī. Therefore, he became very famous as the Lord who stole the sweet rice. Purve Shri Madhava Puri Aila Vrindavan Bhramite Bhramite Gela Giri Govardhan. Once Sri Madhavendra Puri travelled to Vrindavan where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. प्रेमे मत्त नाही तार रात्रि दिन ज्ञान क्षणे उठे क्षणे पड़े नाही स्थानास्थान. Madhavendra Puri was almost mad in his ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in a proper place or not. शैल परिक्रमा करे गोविंद कुंडे आसी स्नान करे वृक्ष तले आछे संध्यायवसी. After circumambulating the hill, Madhavendra Puri went to Govindakund and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. Govindakunda. I did not go to Govindakunda when I went to Ramuna. गोपाल बालक एक दुग्ध भांड लइया आसी आगे धरे किछु बलिल हासिया. While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhavendra Puri and smilingly addressed him as follows. Puri ei dugdha laiya karo tumi pan, magi kene nahi khao kiba karo dhyan. O Madhavendra Puri, please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing? बालकेर सौंदर्ये पुरीर हईल संतोष ताहार मधुर वाक्य गेलो भोकशोष. When he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhavendra Puri became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. पूरी कहे के तुमी कहाँ तुम्हार वास के मते जानिले आमी करे उपवास. Madhavendra Puri said, who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting? बालक कहे गोप आमी ए ग्रामे वसी आमर ग्रामे ते केहो ना रहे उपवासी. The boy replied, sir, I am a cowherd boy and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts. केहो अन्न मागी खाए केहो दुग्धाहार अयाचक जने आमी दिएटे आहार. Dieta ahar. In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables. See, actually, there is a deeper meaning to this as well, right? Because here is saying, in this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his vegetables. So actually, this is the case Krishna supplies to everyone, even those animals and plants which are not asking. Of course, they hunt and do their, but or they eat grass or something, but they are not asking the Lord. But Krishna is providing for everyone. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. So even if there is no immediate material, how to say, arrangement for food, Krishna will arrange. Krishna arranges for everyone. Krishna is arranging, as Prabhupada said, for the elephant and for the ant. He is arranging the respective portions of food for each of them. The elephant requires 40 to 50 kilos every day. The elephant is getting that. The ant requires only some grams or milligrams of food. He is getting that. So in this way, the Lord is providing for everyone, even if when one does not ask. So, when we go to God, Krishna, and ask, oh God, give us our daily bread, like they pray in Christianity, give us our daily bread. Even without us asking, He is giving. That is Krishna. So that is God. So because He's the Father, He is he's ensuring that everyone is maintained, even when we don't ask him. So therefore, to go to him to ask for something material, although it is considered, Krishna says, okay, it is pious, but it is not pure and it is not very high grade, because it can be proved that without your prayer, I'm getting my food, why should I pray? There is no God. People can say like this, and I will not have a good argument against that, because everybody is being maintained somehow or other, right? So this is called Haituki Bhakti. There is a motive behind that devotion, or they want to be maintained or something. So it's that is driving. So that's not what we should go to God for. God will maintain us nonetheless, whether we pray or not. The animals are not praying, but God is arranging for them, Krishna is arranging for them all their due ration of food. So that will be done anyway. So although Krishna is saying like this boy actually is Krishna himself who came to Madhavendra Puri. But so this statement is true for, for all places at all times. জলনিতে স্ত্রীগণ তোমারে দেখি গেল, স্ত্রী সব দুগ্ধ দিয়া আমারে পাঠাইল. The women who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. Because as women, they could not come to a sannyasi like that, and they came and gave him milk and sent him to him. গোদোহন করিতে চাহি শীঘ্র আমি যাব, আরবার আসি আমি এই ভাণ্ড লইব. The boy continued, I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you. এটা বলি গেলা বালক না দেখিয়ে আর, মাধব পুরীর চিত্তে হইল চমৎকার. Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more, and Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder. দুগ্ধপান করি ভাণ্ড ধুইয়া রাখিল, বাট দেখে সেই বালক পুনঃ না আইল. After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked toward the path, but the boy never returned. Vasi naam loy puri nidra nahi hoy, শেষ রাত্রে তন্দ্রা হইল বাহ্য vritti loy. Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and at the end of the night, he dozed a little and his external activities stopped. স্বপ্নে দেখে সেই বালক সম্মুখে আসিয়া, এক কুঞ্জে লইয়া গেল হাতেতে ধরিয়া. In a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the very same boy. The boy came before him and holding his hand took him to a bush in the jungle. কুঞ্জ দেখায়া কহে আমি এই কুঞ্জে রই, শীত বৃষ্টি বাতাগ্নিতে মহাদুঃখ পায়. The boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, I reside in this bush, and because of this I suffer very much from severe cold, rain showers, winds and scorching heat. গ্রামের লোক আনি আমা কাঢ় কুঞ্জ হইতে, পর্বত উপরে লইয়া রাখ ভালো মতে. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill. এক মঠ করি তাহা করহ স্থাপন, বহু শীতল জলে কর শ্রেয়ঙ্গ মার্জন. Please construct a temple on top of that hill, the boy continued, and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may become cleansed. My body may be cleansed. বহুদিন তোমার পথ করে নিরীক্ষণ, কবে আসি মাধব আমা করিবে সেবন. For many days I have been observing you and I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me? তোমার প্রেম বশে করে সেবা অঙ্গীকার দর্শন দিয়া নিস্তারিব সকল সংসার I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience all fallen souls will be delivered. श्री गोपाल नाम मोर गोवर्धन धारी वज्रेर स्थापित आमी इहा अधिकारी. My name is Gopal. I am the lifter of Govardhan hill. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority. शैल उपरि होइते आमी शैल उपरि होइते आमा कुंजे लोकाया म्लेच्छ भय सेवक मोर गेल पालाया. When the Muslims attacked, the priest who was serving me hid me in this bush in the jungle. Then he ran away out of fear of the attack. So you see, this correlates with the historical incidences that happened in Bharat, in India. In medieval history, the Muslims, the Mughals, they came from the west and they invaded and broke many temples and broke many deities. So many pujaris, many devotees, they took the deities and ran and hid them here and there. So this was one of those cases where Gopal deity was hid like that. সেই হইতে রহি আমি এই কুঞ্জ স্থানে ভালো হইল আইলা আমা কাঢ় সাবধানে. Since the priest went away, I have been staying in this bush. It is very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care. এটো বলি সেই বালক অন্তর্ধান কইল জাগিয়া মাধব পুরী বিচার করিল. After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Mādhavendra Purī woke up and began to consider his dream. Shri Krishna ke dekhinu mui narinu chinite eto boli prema veshe padila bhumite. Madhavendra Puri began to lament. I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. So earlier when he came to deliver the milk, it was actually Krishna, but he could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. क्षणिक रोदन करे मन कइल धीर आज्ञा पालन लागे हइला सुस्थिर. Madhavendra Puri cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal. Thus he became tranquil. You see, this is another thing. So the separation from Krishna can be mitigated by service to Krishna, because when we serve Krishna, automatically we are again with Krishna. So you see how he dealt with it. So he was feeling separation from Krishna, that oh, Krishna came and I did not recognize him, and now in order to compensate for that separation, the pain of separation, he's executing the order of Gopal. Thus he became tranquil. In fact, everybody in this material world is crying. In fact, I read the other day, just a moment, let me take that out. Everybody in this material world is crying. Shokashru Sagara Vishoshanam Atyudaram. You see, 328:32. Hasam Hare Ravanata Khilaloka Tivra Shokashru Sagara Vishoshanam Atyudaram Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Bhrumandalam Munikrite Makaradhvajasya. A yogi should similarly meditate on the most benevolent smile of Lord Sri Hari, a smile which, for all those who bow to him, dries away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. See how beautiful this is. The benevolent smile of Lord Shri Krishna, a smile which, for those who bow to him, dries away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. So, this material world is a place which is an ocean of tears. It's at the same time a forest fire, and it causes an ocean of tears by intense grief. The yogi should also meditate on the Lord's arched eyebrows, which are manifested by his internal potency in order to charm the sex god for the good of sages. You see, the entire universe is full of miseries, and therefore the inhabitants of this material universe are always shedding tears out of intense grief. There is a great ocean of water made from such tears, but for one who surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ocean of tears is at once dried up. One need only see the charming smile of the Supreme Lord. In other words, the bereavement of material existence immediately subsides when one sees the charming smile of the Lord. See how nicely it is said. So this ocean of tears, if we actually collect all the tears of everybody who is suffering in this world, it will be an ocean of tears. So that's why the Shokashru Sagara, this material world, is Bhava Mahadavagni. At the same time, it is also called Tivra Shoka Ashru Sagara. Tivra Shokashru Sagara. Tivra means intense grief, not just Shokashru Sagara. Tivra Shokashru Sagara. But they become Vishoshanam, dries up by the most benevolent, charming smile of Krishna. So, if only we take to Krishna consciousness, then all these miserable conditions of material life will completely subside. Tivra Shokashru Sagara Vishoshanam Ati Udaram Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Asya. It's a very beautiful verse actually. Bhumandalam Munikrite Makaradhvajasya. So, that's the answer for this world. Everybody is crying here, and Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshana Darshanam and Abrahma, what is that? No. Mamapetya Punarjanam Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam Bahudukha Dukkham. So this material world is described always as a place of abode of troubles. And Dukkham means what? There is tears. So when we say Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, not only our Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, but the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi of the people around us as well, which also causes troubles, right? So it's a lot of trouble. Material world is full of troubles, and there's an ocean of tears. But to become tranquil, we must execute the order of Gopal, as it is stated in this verse here. Mādhavendra Purī cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal. Then thus he became tranquil. See, the same thing was experienced by Arjuna, right? Deshakalartha-yuktani hrittapopashamani cha haranti smarataschitam govindabhihitani me. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. And I think he says further, Shantasid Vimalamatihi. See, again, Suta Uvacha, Evam Chintayato Jishnoh Krishna Pada Saroruham Sauhardhenati Gardhena Shantasid Vimalamatihi. Suta Goswami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. See, became pacified. Same thing. What did we just see? In the before example, before this? Yeah, became tranquil. And Shokashru, Tivra Shokashru, Sagara Vishoshanam, drying up the ocean of tears. And minds becomes tranquil, peaceful. How? By executing by thinking of the instructions and executing his order. This is how we solve these problems of life. And there's no other solution, honestly, because service to Krishna is the only way out. It's the only way out of this miserable material tabernacle. So anyway, प्रातः स्नान करी पुरी ग्राम मध्य गेला सब लोक एकत्र करी कहिते लागिला. After taking his morning bath, Madhavendra Purī entered the village and assembled all the people. Then he spoke as follows. ग्रामेर ईश्वर तोमार गोवर्धन ग्रामेर ईश्वर तोमार गोवर्धन धारे कुंजे आछे चलो तारे बाहिर जे करी. The proprietor of this village, Govardhan Dhari, is lying in the bushes. Let us go there and rescue him from that place. So, the Lord is the proprietor, but if he is in hiding like that, how is he the proprietor? Of course, he is still the proprietor. But it is just like he is the proprietor of our heart. But we think we are, and then we don't even think about him. But actually, he is the real proprietor. Although he may not be known at all. Because if I am the proprietor of something, people usually know that I am the proprietor. But here, he is the proprietor, but nobody knows. Well, that is the case for the entire material world. People do not know that the Lord is the proprietor, and that's why he is coming and saying that Bhoktaram Yajnatapasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the proprietor of everything. I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices. I am the supreme friend of everyone. The proprietor of this village, Govardhan Dhari, is lying in the bushes. Let us go there and rescue him from that place. Atyanta nivida kunja nari praveshite kuthare kodali loho dwara korite. The bushes are very dense and we will not be able to enter the jungle. Therefore, take choppers and spades to clear the way. See, the deity was hidden in such a place that, could not be found. So this was to protect the deity from the attack of the Muslims. Of course, one may think, oh, how the deity has to be protected from some, unreasonable people, from these mlechas who were trying to destroy the temples. How come the deity has to be protected from them? Who is more powerful, them or the deity? See, the deity is always powerful. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. But when he comes in the form of a deity, he is coming to take service from us, and therefore he acts helpless. And that is to exude the devotion from the devotees, to extract the devotion from the devotees. And that's why he acts helpless, as if he needs help. For example, he's called in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song Suvasa. Yashomati Nandana Brajavara Nagara. One of the words used to describe Krishna was Suvasa. Suvasa means an excellent dresser. So he can dress himself and is very impeccable in his dressing. The most attractive dresser in the entire creation and beyond creation as well, in the spiritual world. He is the most attractive dresser. But he acts like he can't dress himself. And he's just standing there in the form of a deity. Why? Because so that we can serve him. It's his kindness that he allows us to serve him. So this is the truth. So when he comes, he acts so that we can serve him in that way. So even the people hiding him in the bushes, it's kind of Vatsalya mood that I need to protect. Just like Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj were thinking that they should protect Krishna. So it's a bit of that. Um, but of course, we are not in that category of Nanda or Yashoda. But that mood is there that I need to protect the deity. And therefore, I want to state this. The deity, by regulation, has to be sheltered in an enclosure. In fact, if you see the big temples, he is placed in the um, Garbha Gudi. In Telugu we say Garbha Gudi, or um, in the inner sanctum of the temple, and very strongly forted, you know. So that is how deities are usually served. So to protect from the elements, from everything, so that the service can go on nicely. But nowadays it has become a fashion. For example, in Hyderabad, there is this big statue of Ramanujacharya out in the open to all the elements, rain, sunshine, birds passing stool, everything. So that is not actually proper caring for the deity. Although one wants to glorify the acharya, maybe that was the of course that was the purpose that was stated to be the intention of that. But we should do that glorification according to the Shastra. Um, so we should not have such statues. In fact, if anything, the thing that will remind people of the Lord, for example, in Jagannath Puri, big, huge deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, right? But they are sheltered in this temple, and when the chakra and the flag of the temple is seen, everybody remembers the Lord. So, yes, you want people to notice the Acharya or the Lord, but that's done in this way, that the the Gopuram, the shrine, the spire of the temple is visible. Actually, that's why cities are designed in such a way before that the temple used to be the tallest structure in the city, and from every part of the city they can see the temple spire and the the chakra or the flag, and that will remind them of the Lord. So that's the way to do it. Not that the deity should be so big that we can't even dress or we can't even serve in any proper way, can't even take care properly. That's not how he should be taken care of. They had to be sheltered. So anyway, the deity was placed in the bush before that priest ran away. But now the deity made his own arrangements by coming in the dream of Mādhavendra Purī to get him all the way from Vrindavan to here, to Ramuna and around that area, so he can be again, his worship can be revived. So the Lord is actually doing everything here. He is coming in the dream and he is telling where he is. Otherwise, how would anybody know? So he is doing it, but he's doing it in a way that still that fervor to serve the Lord remains with the devotees, and they feel like they should still serve the Lord, although the Lord made all these arrangements. But because he's coming as a deity, and he's, when the situation was more favorable, then he again manifested himself. So the Lord sometimes may may manifest his presence or unmanifest, just like when he came down 5,000 years ago. He manifested his presence in front of everyone, and he disappeared from the worldly vision when he wanted to. So likewise, in Archa Murti also, it is our great privilege that the Lord is standing in the temple and we are getting to serve the Lord in various ways. It's his kindness upon us that he's standing there, allowing him to be served. If not, if circumstances, become, what is that circumstances that become unfavorable? If the devotees somehow or other neglect the service of the Lord, then the Lord will disappear. The Lord can disappear. He is completely independent. We should understand that. Although he comes as totally being dependent upon his devotees, he is forever independent, Swarat. That position does not change. And therefore, when we serve him, we should be very careful that, we should not take it for granted that, oh, here is the deity, okay, we should be very, very careful. We have this opportunity to serve him, and he's still here, agreeing to be served by the devotees and not gone away and nobody knows where. So anyway, Madhavendra Purī said the bushes are very dense and we will not be able to enter the jungle. Therefore, take choppers and spades to clear the way. Shuni lokha tara sange chalila harishe kunja kati dwara kori korila praveshe. After hearing this, all the people accompanied Madhavendra Puri with great pleasure. According to his directions, they cut down bushes, cleared a path, and entered the jungle. ठाकुर देखिलो माटी तृणे आच्छादित देखि सब लोक होइलो आनंदे विस्मित. When they saw the deity covered with dirt and grass, they were all struck with wonder and pleasure. आवरण दूर करे करिलो विदिते महाभारी ठाकुर के हो नारे चालाइते. After they had cleansed the body of the deity, some of them said, "The deity is very heavy, no single person can move him." Maha balishtha loka ekatra kariya parvata upari gelo puri ठाकुर लैया. Since the deity was very heavy, some of the stronger men assembled to carry him to the top of the hill. Madhavendra Puri also went there. पाथरेर सिंहासने ठाकुर वसाइला बड़ एक पाथर पृष्ठे अवलंब दिला. A big stone was made into a throne and the deity was installed upon it. Another big stone was placed behind the deity for support. ग्रामेर ब्राह्मण सब नव घट लोया गोविंद कुंडेर जल अनिल छानिया. All the Brahmana priests of the village gathered together with new water pots, and water from Govindakund lake was brought there and filtered. नवशत घट जल कैलो उपनीत नाना वाद्य भैरी बाजे स्त्रीगण गाय गीत. When the deity was being installed, water was brought from Govindakund in hundreds of new pots. There were musical sounds of bugles and drums and the singing of women. Yeah, so yeah, this is he's worshipped in Nadwara. Yes, in Nadwara, this is all in that place. There were musical sounds of bugles and drums and the singing of women. केहो गाये केहो नाचे महोत्सव होइलो दधि दुग्ध घृत आइला ग्रामे जतो छिलो. During the festival at the installation ceremony, some people sang and some danced. All the milk, yogurt, and clarified butter in the village was brought to the festival. भोग सामग्री आइलो संदेश आदि जत नाना उपहार ताहा कहिते पारिकत. Various foods and sweetmeats as well as other kinds of presentations were brought there. I am unable to describe all these. तुलसी आदि पुष्प वस्त्र आइलो अनेक आपने माधवपुरी कोइलो अभिषेक. The villagers brought a large quantity of tulsi leaves, flowers, and various kinds of garments. Then Sri Madhavendra Puri personally began the Abhishek or bathing ceremony. Purport. In the Haribhakti Vilas 6.30, it is stated that the deity should be bathed in water mixed with yogurt and milk, accompanied by the sounds of conch shells, bells, and other instruments, and the chanting of the mantra Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha, as well as the chanting of the Brahma Samhita verses beginning Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshavritesha Surabhir Abhipalayantam. So, according to Haribhakti Vilas, this is mentioned. So, I just want to note down as well. So, Abhishek, during Abhishek, these mantras can be chanted. Every day also, when one is doing Abhishek, one can chant these mantras. अमंगला दूर करे कराइलो स्नान बहु तैलो दिया कोइलो श्रीअंग चिक्कन. After all inauspicious things were driven away by the chanting of the mantra, the deity's bathing ceremony started. First, the deity was massaged with a large quantity of oil so that his body became very glossy. Panchagavya Panchamrite Snana Koraya Mahasnana Korailo Shata Ghata Diya. After the first bathing, further bathings were conducted with Panchagavya and then with Panchamrita. Then the Mahasnan was performed with ghee and water, which had been brought in 100 pots. Purport: the ingredients of Panchagavya are milk, yogurt, ghee or clarified butter, cow urine, and cow dung. So Panchagavya means, all these items come from the cow. Therefore, we can just imagine how important the cow is, since its urine and stool are required for bathing the deity. The Panchamrita consists of 5 kinds of nectar: yogurt, milk, ghee, honey, and sugar. The major portion of this preparation also comes from the cow. To make it more palatable, sugar and honey are added. So you see, and sometimes people say, "Oh, why are you spending so much um, thing in the abhishek like that? You can give it to the poor people. Why are you wasting so much milk on the abhishek and all these items on the abhishek?" This is nonsense. In fact, if we serve the Lord supplies even more. And also, it can be taken as Charnamrita and Prasad and can be distributed to everyone. So, it's a very, very stupid argument. Punah toilo diya, koilo shriyanga chikan, shankha gandhodake, koilo snana samadhan. So, shankha gandhodake, koilo snana samadhan. After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil and his body made glossy. Then the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water kept within a conch shell. Purport: in his commentary on this occasion, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes from the Hari Bhakti Vilas: barley powder, wheat powder, vermilion powder, urad dal powder, and another powder preparation called avata, made by mixing banana powder and ground rice, are applied to the deity's body with a brush made from the hair at the end of a cow's tail. This produces a nice finish. Very interesting. The oil smeared over the body of the deity should be scented. To perform the Mahasnan, at least 2.5 manas or about 24 gallons of water are needed to pour over the body of the deity. 24 gallons. It's almost like 100 and something liters, 110 to 120, right? Almost liters. प्रियंगमार्जन करे वस्त्र परायला चंदन तुलसी पुष्पमाला अंगे दिला. After the body of the deity was cleansed, he was dressed very nicely with new garments. Then sandalwood pulp, tulsi garlands, and other fragrant flower garlands were placed upon the body of the deity. धूप दीप करी नाना भोग लगाइला दधि दुग्ध संदेश आदि जत किछु आइला. After the bathing ceremony was finished, incense and lamps were burned and all kinds of food offered before the deity. These foods included yogurt, milk, and as many sweetmeats as were received. सुवासित जल नव पात्रे समर्पिल आचमन दियाशे तांबूल निवेदिल. The deity was first offered many varieties of food, then scented drinking water in new pots, and then water for washing the mouth. Finally, pan mixed with a variety of spices was offered. आरात्रिक करे कोइलो बहुत स्तवन दंडवत करे कोइलो आत्मसमर्पण. After the last offering of tambul and pan, Bhog Aratrika was performed. Finally, everyone offered various prayers and then obeisances, falling flat before the deity in full surrender. Gramera Jateka Tandula, Dali Godhuma Churna, Sakala Aniyadila Parvata Hoila Purna. As soon as the people of the village had understood that the deity was going to be installed, they had brought their entire stocks of rice, dal, and wheat flour. They brought such large quantities that the entire surface of the top of the hill was filled. See, actually, if we want to really serve the Lord will provide so much facility for us to serve the Lord, and there'll be more than enough for everyone else as well. That's the real lesson, that if we serve the Lord opulently, the Lord will more than maintain us opulently. So, in fact, there is this verse by Kunti Devi, right? I think 1:8:39, I think. Mm. 1:8:38, probably. Am I getting this wrong? Yeah, this 1:8:40. इमे जनपदाः स्मृद्धाः सुपक्वौषधिविरुधः वनाद्रिनद्युदन्मन्तो हि एधन्ते तव वीक्षितैः. See, all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans are full of wealth. All this is, and this is all due to your glancing over them. So, this is the opulence, natural opulence, that will be possible if one worships the Lord. In contrast to what people would argue, oh, if you do so opulent worship of the Lord, then there's not food for the poor. On the contrary, this is the actual truth, that if we serve the Lord opulently, the Lord will bestow so much opulence upon us. Like this, Kuntadevi is saying. So, this is the real formula for economic prosperity, not this artificial so-called economic prosperity where huge industrialization and horrible ugra karma that is going on. That is not real prosperity actually. Real prosperity is to have natural supplies of opulence. And I think there is another verse for that. Is it 8, 10, 9 or something? No, not this. 8, 7, 14. Oh, wait. Okay, let's try that. 7, 14, 7. Yeah, this is the one. Divyam bhaumam शांतरीक्षं वित्तम अच्युत निर्मितं तत्सर्वं उपयुञ्जान एतत् कुर्यात् स्वतो बुधः. The natural products created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be utilized to maintain the bodies and souls of all living entities. The necessities of life are of three types: those produced from the sky, from rainfall, from the earth, from the mines, the seas, or the fields, and from the atmosphere, that which is obtained suddenly and unexpectedly. So, this is nicely mentioned here, all the natural things that usually come by this. And apparently, according to a particular astrological combination, when the rain falls, there will be pearls also formed. So that is also there. So there are so many. Even hills will be full of minerals, and many of these things happen by natural processes which are beyond our control. And we should not artificially try to do anything. This is called prayasa, unnecessary endeavor. So whatever is naturally obtained, we should use, and it will be abundant when we become more and more Krishna conscious. That's the real thing. You see? You see? त्रिवर्गं नातिकृच्छ्रेण भजेत गृहमेध्यपि यथा देशं यथा कालं यावद्दैवोपपादितम्. Even if one is a householder rather than a brahmachari, a sannyasi or a vanaprastha, one should not endeavor very hard for religiosity, economic development or satisfaction of the senses. Even in household life, one should be satisfied to maintain body and soul together with whatever is available with minimum endeavor according to time and according to place and time by the grace of the Lord. One should not engage oneself in ugra karma. So this is the thing. So this is the principle. So they brought such large quantities that the entire surface of the top of the hill was filled. কুম্ভকার ঘরে ছিল যে মৃদ ভাজন সব আনাইল প্রাতে চড়িল রন্ধন. When the villagers brought their stock of rice, dal and flour, the potters of the village brought all kinds of cooking pots, and in the morning the cooking began. दश विप्र अन्न रांधि करे एक स्तूप जना पांच रांधे व्यंजनादि नाना सूप. 10 brahmanas cooked the food grains and 5 brahmanas cooked both dry and liquid vegetables or soups. Liquid veg soup. वन्य शाक फल मूले विविध व्यंजन केहो बाड़ा बड़ी कड़ी करे विप्रगण. The vegetable preparations were made from various kinds of spinach, roots and fruits collected from the forest, and someone made bada and badi by mashing dal. In this way, the brahmanas prepared all kinds of food. Jana pancha sat roti kare rashi rashi anna vyanjan sab rahe ghrute bhasi. Anna vyanjan sab rahe ghrute bhasi. 5 to 7 men prepared a huge quantity of chapatis, which were completely covered with ghee, clarified butter, as were all the vegetables, rice and dal. See how opulent. नव वस्त्र पातीता है पलाशेर पात रांधी रांधी तार ऊपर राशि कोयलो भात. All the cooked rice was stacked on palasha leaves, which were on new cloths spread over the ground. तार पाशे रोटी राशिर पर्वत होइल सूप आदि व्यंजन भांड चौदी के धरिल. Around the stack of cooked rice were stacks of chapatis, and all the vegetables and liquid vegetable preparations were placed in different pots and put around them. तार पाशे दधि दुग्ध माठा शिखरिणी पायसमथनी सर पाशे धरे आनी. Pots of yogurt, milk, buttermilk and shikharini, sweet rice, cream and solid cream were placed alongside the vegetables. Purport. In this kind of ceremony, which is called annakut, cooked rice is stacked like a small mountain for prasadam distribution. हेनो मते अन्नकूट करेलो साजन पूरी गोसाई गोपाले रे कोइलो samarpan. In this way, the annakut ceremony was performed, and Madhavendra Purī Goswami personally offered everything to Gopal. अनेक घट भरी दिल सुवासित जल बहुदिनेर क्षुधाय गोपाल खाइलो सकल. Many water pots were filled with scented water for drinking, and Lord Sri Gopal, who had been hungry for many days, ate everything offered to him. यद्यपि गोपाल सब अन्न व्यंजन खाइल तार हस्त स्पर्श पुनः तेमोनि होइल. Although Sri Gopal ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. So this is the description, this is the explanation of prasadam. Purport. The atheists cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in the form of the deity, can eat all the food offered by his devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.26, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti pahritam ashnami prayatatmanah. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. The Lord is Purna, complete, and therefore he eats everything offered by his devotees. However, by the touch of his transcendental hand, all the food remains exactly as before. It is the quality that is changed. Before the food was offered, it was something else, but after it is offered, the food acquires a transcendental quality. Because the Lord is Purna, he remains the same even after eating. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Ishopanishad invocation. The food offered to Krishna is qualitatively as good as Krishna. Just as Krishna is avyaya, indestructible, the food eaten by Krishna, being identical with him, remains as before. Apart from this, Krishna can eat the food with any one of his transcendental senses. He can eat by seeing the food or by touching it. Nor should one think that it is necessary for Krishna to eat. He does not become hungry like an ordinary human being. Nonetheless, he presents himself as being hungry, and as such, he can eat everything and anything regardless of quantity. The philosophy underlying Krishna's eating is understandable by our transcendental senses. When our senses are purified by constantly being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, we can understand Krishna's activities, names, forms, qualities, pastimes, and entourage. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेद् ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियैः सेवोन्मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदः. CC Madhya 17.136. No one can understand Krishna by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-234. The devotees understand Krishna through revelation. It is not possible for a mundane scholar to understand Krishna and his pastimes through research work on a non-devotional platform. So this is important. Not possible for a mundane scholar to understand Krishna and his pastimes through research work on the non-devotional platform. So only with devotion can he be understood. Otherwise, panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayorathapi manaso munipungavaanam. We cannot understand him even if we speculated research work for millions and trillions of years. So I think I will stop it here. So maybe I'll just read this part as well. ইহা অনুভব কইল মাধব গোসাই তার ঠাঁই গোপালের লুকানো কিছু নাই. How Gopal ate everything while the food remained the same was transcendently perceived by Mādhavendra Purī Goswami. Nothing remains a secret to the devotees of the Lord. Okay, we will explain this next session. We will stop it here. And just for this particular verse, nothing remains a secret to the devotees of the Lord. So they see things as they are. And they know all the secrets about the Lord as well. And that is explained in this verse. I think 389. Yeah. उल्लङ्घित त्रिविधसीमसमातिशायि सम्भावनं तव परिव्रढिमस्वभावम् मायाबलेन भवतापि निगुह्यमानं पश्यन्ति केचिदनिशं त्वदनन्यभावाः. O my Lord, everything within material nature is limited by time, space, and thought. Your characteristics, however, being unequaled and unsurpassed, are always transcendental to such limitations. You sometimes cover such characteristics by your own energy, but nevertheless your unalloyed devotees are always able to see you under all circumstances. So there's no secret about the Lord to the devotees. Even though the Lord may try to hide, the devotee they cannot hide from the devotees. So okay, the rest we will continue in the next session. Where did we stop? 4.78. Okay. So thank you all very much for your time. And so there's a question. Why demoniac people seem to be more powerful than even devotees? The suffering is there for them, but why they're getting time? Why it is taking time for them to get punished? Well, we actually do not know how each of every soul is being punished. We see it in a very different way. We see it in a very limited way. But when one dies, and even in their own life, there is so much suffering, and even after he dies, where he goes, which hellish planets, and what kind of suffering they're undergoing, we don't even have any slightest tinge of all of that idea of how all that is being carried out. So the Lord is, anyway, we don't need to understand all of this as well, but we should understand that the Lord's justice system will work. There is no defect in that. When we feel frustrated, that does not mean the Lord should act because of our frustration. He will act, and He's already acting, and sometimes we can't even see. So that is also there. So, all right, I think I'll stop it here. Thank you very much. जय श्री माधवेंद्र पुरी की जय, श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण।